Happy Friday morning. This is Brent with Lykins Motorsports. We are not turning wrenches on engines today. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? So, working on a new rifle. This is my early Christmas present. Always enjoyed shooting. Have a lot of guns. Been shooting since I was probably before I was a teenager. Different types of shooting. Grew up with archery and trap and skeet and bench rest rifles, and started shooting some USPSA matches with pistols later on in life. So just really enjoy shooting, and it always seems like the guys that like cars and hot engines and hot cars enjoy firearms as well. I don't know what the correlation is there, but that seems to be the case from what I've gathered so far. This is my new rifle. It's a Savage 110 Desert Tactical, and it's chambered in 6.5 PRC. So fairly new cartridge. The 6.5 stuff came out. The Creedmoor and some of the other cartridges, and I think this one is the latest one to come out. Pretty hot round, about 3,000 feet per second. And on the list of flattest shooting rifle cartridges, I think this is like number 9. So doesn't drop much. Good for long range target, long range hunting. I bought this off of gunbrokers.com, and I bought a lot of firearms from off of there. And this particular seller was in Texas, and I got the rifle in and had it shipped to my local dealer, and the bolt is in it now, but when I took it out of the box, it just had some minor looking marks on it, and the one that bothered me the most was this one down here where you open the bolt. I did contact them because I just didn't really like how the rifle looked out of the box. I'm pretty particular about my stuff, and they were really good about, they said, we'll send you a call tag, you can return it, but they don't have any others in stock right now, so I'd have to wait. And obviously when you ship firearms back and forth, you have to do it through a dealer, so there's going to be a big hassle. So when I put the bolt in, you can kind of see the marks on the bolt, but from what I gather, this is just rubbing from normal operation. And I was thinking that somebody had maybe shot the rifle and returned it, but that just doesn't seem to be the case right now. It still had all the decals on it and everything. So when you pull the bolt out, it does rub against the action down there, and I think that's probably what's causing that mark. I don't know, I'll look into that later, but just to go over some of the features of the rifle, it is magazine fed if you choose to do so. I think it's 7 round magazine with the 6.5 PRC. It is pretty heavy barrel. Comes threaded for a muzzle brake if you want to use so, or it comes with this cap if you don't use it. Already comes with a scope mount, and it's made for some long range stuff. It's already 20 MOA. It's got the Savage adjustable trigger, and I will do that here in a second. It's not too bad the way that it is. Pretty crisp, pretty light, but if it's adjustable on down, then I'm going to do that. Won't be using this for hunting or anything like that. I'll be using it for target shooting, and in my experience, the heavier the trigger, the more you're apt to pull off the shot. So I'm going to adjust that down. From what I understand, you got to pull the action and everything out of the stock to do that, so I'll get that done here in a minute. I really like Savage rifles. My other rifle is a 112 model. This one's a 110, but my other rifle's a 112 and 338 Lapua, and it shoots pretty well for a factory rifle. I've not done any hand-loaded ammunition out of it yet. I've just shot factory rounds, and it is well capable of sub MOA groups at 100 yards with factory ammunition. Here's a group that I shot. It's actually a 6-shot group that tucked 5 shots right in the same hole, or right there tight in a group. And what I haven't gotten comfortable with so far is figuring out what the rifle likes as far as heat in the barrel. And I think that one flyer that you see there is because barrel was getting hot and it was starting to expand a little bit. But rifles just shoot really well, so I expect no different from this one. And here's some other parts that I got with it. My Lapua has an Athlos or Argos scope on it. This is the exact same scope that I have on my 112. It's a 8-34 power with an MOA reticle, 56 millimeter objective, and a 30 millimeter tube diameter. Just really nice clear optics. Really like how it looks and how it's adjustable, and it's got the you can set the stop on it on the turrets when you get everything to where you to need it to be. You can zero it and lock it down so that if you're out target shooting and you want to, you know, extend the range, you can dial it up, and when you dial it back down, it always returns to 0. So really nice scope. I got it in a combo deal with a set of these scope rings, and it also come with a sunshade. So pretty nice little combination. I guess the first thing I want to do is get the trigger adjusted. So I'll probably go ahead and strip the decals off of it and get it wiped down, and get the bolt out of it and go ahead and separate it from the stock. Alright, I'm an engine builder, not a gunsmith, so it'll take me a while to get this done. I'm going to show you how to do it as I do it. There's a screw here in the front of the mag well, and then a screw here that's between the mag release and the trigger guard. The one that goes up here is the longer one, but it's easy to then separate the stock from the action. All right, so they give you this tool, and you insert it down in the hole where the spring is, and it's like a screw. And you, for the lightest pull, you turn it counterclockwise until you feel the resistance, and that should be the lightest load. All right, so I got the rifle put back together. Forgot to mention another nice feature of this rifle is it's got an adjustable comb. So if you have, you know, a big scope like I have, where the objective lens can, you know, potentially touch the barrel, and you got to jack it up with these high rings, you can also raise the comb up on the rifle so that when you get the rifle on your face, you're looking directly through the scope. I'm gonna go ahead and get my gun vise out and get the rifle situated in it, and we'll get our scope mounted. All right, rifle is in our gun vise, clamped down tight. I've got our lower base, our scope ring bases attached to our Picatinny rail, and I have rough mounted the scope, and I actually got it out of the vise, put it up to my shoulder to get the right amount of eye relief. I'm not a very big guy, so I'm kind of short-armed, and you know, positioning the scope is kind of individual based. So, you know, I may grab a rifle that somebody else has, and when I put it to my face, you know, I'm not able to see through the scope clearly. So that kind of needs to be fitted to you specifically. But now that the rings, the lower ring halves are mounted to our rail, they give a torque spec for these two adjustment bolts, and I'll go ahead and lock those down and torque those. Since the scope is where it will be, then I'm actually going to hone. I'll put the actually marked which half goes with the other half. So I'll get those mounted loose, and then we'll hone the ring, scope rings. I'm having trouble speaking this morning, but there's actually a honing tool for scope rings, is what I'm trying to say, to make sure the alignment is perfect. And if there's any high spots or low spots in the pair, then it will take care of that. That ensures when you clamp everything down that it doesn't put the scope in a bind, which can affect the way that it functions and it shoots. So we're going to get these torqued down, get our honing tool out, and we'll get to work on that. So the first step of doing this is I have a Weaver kit, 430 millimeter tubes, and they provide you with these two machined pointers, and you stick these in your rings, and you can look down over and you can see how aligned your rings are, and we're pretty good in that direction, but we're not too hot in that direction. So hopefully when we hone, it'll correct that. Looks like we need this ring bore kind of needs to move down a little bit, but we'll see where the high spots are. So I know this is a gun video, but we'll throw some engine stuff in here. This is the same thing that you would do for align honing mains. Same process. So if all of your mains and your main bearings are in alignment, a lot better setup on your engine. Same thing here. If this is in perfect alignment, then it's a lot easier on your scope. And here is our honing tool. It comes with some fine grit lapping compound, and essentially you just move this back and forth and give it a little bit of rotation and get it started. And then you can slowly put your ring caps on and even those up to where they will be mounted, and you can tighten those up and give yourself a good honing pattern. So I have my lower ring mounted or marked, and the cap marked as well. So when I take all this apart, this one's marked with 1 dot, and you keep the orientation of the lower and the upper together so that you keep your alignment the same. Same deal with changing main caps on an engine. If you move them, you know, out of position or backwards or whatever, it changes the alignment of your main tunnel. All right, I didn't show that because it's kind of a two-handed job, but essentially you want to work this back and forth and in and out and round and round. And the more you move it, you can hear the noise go down as things smooth up, and it gets smoother on the feel. So I'm going to check, pull these caps off, and we'll put our alignment tools back in and see how we're doing. So you can kind of see, once I got it back apart, where the high spots were and where the alignment needs to take place. Like this ring cap here, I guess had a lot of high spots towards the that would be, when I flip this over, that would be towards the back. It would match this right here. Well, actually, I was looking at it wrong. So towards the front, here's your cap. Sorry, when I'm looking through my phone, it doesn't, the depth perception is kind of off. So same with this here. This is the bottom, so a little bit of wear towards the back end. So hopefully when I get my alignment tools in, everything will be in alignment. So I can already tell it's better without even having the caps on. So the points are touching. Get my finger in here so you can see the contrast. Yeah. So just that little bit of honing there changed how these alignment tools were pointed at each other. So if you can imagine your scope, if I had have bolted that scope on without honing the rings, then, you know, if you remember, they were kicked this way. So that would have put that scope in kind of a bind. And we got our caps on, and I'm just super pleased with how that has come out. So now we're in the clear. I'm gonna wipe everything down, make sure it's nice and clean, with some solvent, and then clean everything up, and then we'll get our scope mounted. Very imperative to use some leveling tools when you're mounting the scope. You can take a level off of this Picatinny rail, and we'll level this the rifle up side to side on our gun vise, and then make sure our scope mounts, or make sure our scope matches to the level of the rifle. Now, after everything's clean, you can really see where the wear patterns were. So changes everything quite a bit. Here's the part number for the kit that I have. I think I said Weaver before. I was wrong. It's Wheeler. I'm just not as in-depth with the gun stuff as I am the engine stuff. So, but here's the part number and everything for the 30mm kit. All right, and our scope is mounted. I've got a level that you can set on the turret, and then a level that locates off of your Picatinny rail, and you level the rifle, level the scope. If you've got those two things done and your eye relief adjusted, then you can tighten your screws down. And I'd use just a little bit of Loctite blue so that if I ever have to remove it, I can. You always torque, and you never want to torque all on the same side, and you want to try to keep, well, I don't know, this may be just an anal engine builder deal, but I like to see these gaps the same. So you can, loosen one side, tighten the other side until you get the gaps the same, and then you crisscross, just like you were torquing main bolts on an engine block, and torque those all down. Here is I've never shot this rifle before, brand spanking new. I've never even seen a 6.5 PRC in person until now. But so I have really no expectations of what the rifle's going to do. From what I've seen on other YouTube videos, these are tack drivers out of the box. It may be completely opposite for me. I don't know. But here's the ammunition that I have chosen to start out with. It's Norma Target ammunition, 143 grains. Here's what it looks like. So cartridge length is about 3 inches long, so pretty good size cartridge. Nothing like my 338 Lapua, but larger than your 5.56 and smaller 22 caliber stuff. So 6.5mm is just over a 1/4 inch bullet diameter. So we'll see how it does. I plan to maybe get it to the range this afternoon. We'll see what happens. All right, guys, a little bit different video selection this week, but and I don't even know if YouTube will let me monetize that, but we'll see. And hopefully I can put up a video of how the rifle does later on, maybe tomorrow. We'll see. Got a lot of cool engine stuff coming, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on any of that. The crank is for our 496 forced induction build is at the crank grinders right now, getting the mains touched. And we've got a lot of other cool things coming down the pike, so make sure you don't miss out on those things. Y'all have a good weekend. Stay warm. Get out and shoot. See ya.